This video is from the course Introduction. It's designed for complete beginners and assumes you have no knowledge of the subject matter. If you are interested in more beginner, intermediate, or advanced content, check out our website SUBMETA.io. Now going through how to pass the guard. So we've learned how to open the closed guard when Liv had locked her feet around me in the closed guard. Now I need to pass the guard. I want to get to a position where I have good offense and I can attack. And right now Liv actually has a better chance to attack on me. Okay, and the reason is Liv has a better chance right now of controlling the space between my knees and my shoulders, where she can start to set up attacks such as chokes and arm locks. Okay, I want to get to the point where I control the space between Liv's knees and her shoulders, something like the mount or side control. Okay, once I'm here, I can now start to isolate her limbs or her neck and start to set up my own attack. The first thing to think about when you've opened the closed guard is protect yourself from getting put back in that position. Protect your opponent from getting into this gap between your knees and your shoulders. So we can do something called combat base. This is where I'm standing up on my right leg. You can see my shin's vertical here. And I have my elbow connected to my leg or my shin. Okay, so you'll notice there's a straight line, a full line from my arm down through my shin. Okay, and when Liv tries to shoot her legs in to something like closed guard, it gets blocked. Okay, she can't go over my arm. She can't go through my leg. If I separate that gap, she can start bringing her legs in and get to the closed guard. Okay. Or potentially this same rule applies for any of the submissions I'm worried about, such as an arm lock from here or a triangle, as you might learn later. If my elbow stays connected to my knee, I'm okay. So this combat base, being up on one leg and back on the other, is a great way to block your opponent from making the position worse on you. Another general rule to follow here is you want to either have both arms in or both arms out, but never one in and one out. Okay, so I can have both arms, see both hands are in front of Liv here. This is okay. I could have both hands underneath the legs, so both arms out. But if I put one arm in and one arm out, this leaves me vulnerable to attacks such as the triangle. So we're wanting, in this particular pass we're covering, we're going to have both hands in, so both arms in front, blocking like this. To pass the guard, generally you want to think of it in stages. It's not one movement. I don't go from here into mount. I don't go from here into side control. I want to pin the legs first, control the legs first, then control the upper body. So when we work through this pass, I'm going to pin the near leg. There's a good reason for this. One, it stops her from bringing her knee towards her chest. It exposes this space between her shoulders and her knees, so I can actually establish the mount. And also, by putting my weight on the leg, it's hard for Liv to move away and escape out of the position. Looking for upper body control without pinning the leg often just exposes yourself where Liv can start to keep her leg in the way, block that space, or eventually put me back in worse positioning. So with my elbow connected to my knee in combat base, I have my hands on the inside. I'm going to block the thigh, pin the leg down to the ground, and then I'm going to put my shin on the leg. So I've now got weight on my shin, knee on one side, foot on the other. From here, I want to get upper body control. I've got two controls I'm going to work with here. There's a cross face, where I reach my arm across the face here and use it to turn Liv. And there's an underhook where I reach underneath the arm. These are two really important controls, especially for guard passing and controlling in top position. So let's have a look at the cross face first. I'm going to reach right under the head and grip underneath the far shoulder here. The purpose of this grip is to turn Liv away. Okay, I can use my shoulder to pressure and turn her away. We learnt with our escapes, when someone wants to escape out of a position, we want to face our opponent. When we use a crossface, it's a great way to force our opponent away from us, so it's difficult for them to face and actually start to escape. So when we get our crossface, We want to grip under the shoulder. We want to drop our shoulder low, below the chin here. And then I start to drive across and a little bit upwards, like so. So it should be sitting under the chin, not just purely across the chin like this. Okay, so you can put your shoulder a bit lower and across. I'm not gripping the head like this. I actually want to have my elbow deep. If I get my elbow deep like this, then when I drive my shoulder, it puts better pressure. The underhook is a really important battle about, again, establishing this control between the shoulders and the knees. So an underhook means where I reach my arm underneath Liv's arm like this. I could get an underhook here, or Liv could get an underhook here. And this is actually who wins this battle often determines who's going to win the next stage as to whether I get to mount or whether she escapes. So when Liv has an underhook here, what she can do is bump me forward. She lifts her arm and brings me forward. She has control now with her arm of the space between my shoulder and my hips. Whereas if I have an underhook and Liv tries to bump me forward, you can see it hooks under the armpit and keeps me attached. So by having my arm underneath the arm here, as opposed to Liv having her arm underneath, really makes a big difference as to who's going to control the position. So by getting this underhook here, as well as the crossface, I stop myself getting bumped forward and I stop Liv from being able to turn in towards me. Often when we get this, we connect our hands, which kind of reinforces the strength of the underhook and the crossface together. So I get both arms on the inside, combat base. I pin the leg to the ground, shin comes over the top. I look to get a crossface, reaching to underneath the far armpit, shoulder low under the chin, and an underhook underneath the arm, connecting my hands together. Once I'm in this position, I want to work towards the mount. So I'm going to step my left knee towards my right knee and then slide it over the top. And you'll see I have both shins on top of Liv's thighs here. Right. Once my shins are on the thighs, I'm going to step the feet off and take the mount position. Common mistakes in going from the guard in towards the mount. First off, allowing one arm to go in and one arm out. That allows Liv to start to set up a submission. So always want to have both arms over the top. Make sure when you pin the leg, that's the same thing. So don't open your elbow away from your knee. I want to keep my elbow attached to the knee so that when I come over the top, I'm staying safe throughout. Common mistake with the crossface is putting the hand high and pressuring too high with the crossface. We want to make sure our hand goes low and our shoulder goes underneath the chin. With the underhook, we need to make sure that we stay below the line of the elbow. If I underhook at the forearm, Liv can usually pummel her underhook back. If I underhook at least below the elbow line, if she tries to bring her elbow back, she can't do that, and I can connect my hands. A common mistake here is not going cross body. I want to keep Liv flat, and the best way to do that is be low and cross body like this. Okay, so you can see I'm really occupying the space with my chest, and it makes it difficult for Liv to turn in. Try to turn to your left. Okay, because I'm driving pressure across this way against her being able to turn. It's a natural reaction is to kind of reach towards the head, being in line with the head, with my body, but also being too far forward here. Okay. From here, I have very poor pressure on this far shoulder. If Liv wants to start to turn and bump me off balance, I often lose my balance in this scenario, which she couldn't do when I'm more low and across the body with my crossface and underhook. So in summary, when we open the closed guard, we get our combat base, our arms on the inside, our elbow attached to our leg. We're going to pin the leg, put our shin over the top, reach for a good crossface underneath the far shoulder, reach underneath the elbow for the underhook, and connect our hands. Once we're here, we bring our knees together, drive across so our shins are over the top, and then flick our feet out to take them out. I hope you enjoyed this video from the course Introduction on SUBMETA.io. If you go to SUBMETA.io, you can watch this course for free, uninterrupted, with exercises to help you with recall. Also for free, we have the follow-up course to this, Foundations 1 Escapes, which builds on the content you'll be learning in this course.